Hey guys, can anyone hear me, see me? So I am live, not sure if the title appears on the screen here. It is titled, this conversation, this dialogue is titled, My Personal Experience to COVID-19 and How It's Changed My Life Forever. So I'm going to wait just a little bit to see if anyone logs in. I do see some viewers, but it is 5 minutes after, so perhaps since I didn't log in right away at 3:30, maybe people thought I was gonna not come on here after all. So as I wait for people to log in or connect, this discussion is a hard one for me. It is a very delicate experience that I had to go through, very traumatic, for lack of better words. But yet, I can gauge myself as to the foundation that I have that supports me, that I've built throughout the course of my years, my hardships, my depressions, and with this experience that I had to face, really helps me measure how solid my foundation is to myself, to God, to the part of God that dwells in me. So yeah, so it's a hard one. In fact, I'm nervous doing this discussion, but I feel that it's a must. It's a discussion that needs to be made for those that are receptive to receive the discussion, for those that are ready to receive whatever it is that they must obtain out of this dialogue, out of this interaction. I repeat, not sure if the title appears on the screen here, but the title reads, My Personal Experience to COVID-19 and How It's Affected Me and How It's Changed My Life Forever. Okay, so I'm just going to proceed with this. Again, bear with me. It's the first time I actually speak out in regards to this, and opposed to some few that I was able to really discuss about what had happened to me and my family this past month. I want to say the month of July, ends of June and the whole month of July. COVID-19 is very, very real. It is a real virus, a new virus that is attacking people, all walks of life. Those that don't believe either, it is attacking all. The believers, the non-believers, the atheists, the godly, if you will. It is hitting everyone. Whether how severe it hits you, it's really up to so many factors. But be careful is what I can tell you. I'm not here to change your mind or make you believe that this is not, that you're bad or wrong for not believing, or that if you don't have the same ideologies as me in reference to what I'm going to be discussing, that's okay. I honor your truth, as I am honoring mine. And again, this video is only for the sake of those people who are willing to receive it, and if it rings truth to you. Other than that, by all means, honor your truth. I'm not here to change it, make you feel shame for not believing the way that I believe. I honor your truth. And this is a moment where I'm on my channel of emotional wisdom, taking advantage in sharing what had happened to me. And hopefully, like I said, you guys can obtain whatever it is you see fit for you in your personal, spiritual, emotional journey. Yes, I got COVID-19. It was not like a flu. It was different. It felt extremely different in my body. I will be going into symptoms of how it manifested shortly after. I disclose that it wasn't just me who got the virus. Perhaps maybe some of you were wondering why I wasn't uploading any videos or posting anything. It was because I was trying to make sense of it all. It wasn't just me who got it. It was my intermediate family who got it. And, actually, which is really ironic. My father passed through the process. I'm sorry, guys, if I get emotional, but, yeah, my father passed away from it. July 14th. He was one of those that didn't believe. So, I'm not saying to operate out of fear, just caution. Because, people out there are saying if you're fearful is when it attacks you. I understand, but my dad wasn't fearful of it, and it attacked him and took his life. It didn't only take his life, it took his sister's life. And it also took another family member's life. So I lost 3. I lost 3 people in my family in July. Weeks apart. To be precise, actually a week and a half apart, all of them. And here it goes. What really was very difficult to swallow through this journey was the fact that I actually prayed heavy for God, the universe, Christ, Jesus, Archangel Michael. Yes, I would name all of the angels. I would name, even I have a connection with the Virgin Mary. I will call her forth. And my ancestors of love and light to protect my family. It's like I knew intuitively something that this virus, what we're dealing with here as a collective, is going to change my life. So I want to say that the measures that I took, that I felt supported in, was to pray. And literally for the past 8 months, 6 or 8 months, every day, I would pray over my family. Literally name each sibling. And then my whole family, and then my whole friends. And I was creating this bubble of protection. Literally calling forth all the angels, God, Jesus, Mother Mary. I do have a connection with her. My ancestors of love and light, unconditional love, the universe. I called everything forth into this prayer to make the bubble of protection, if you will, stronger. Almost every day, literally, if I missed a day, I would do it in the evening. So when we all got infected, I was so confused. I couldn't understand, because I'm a strong believer of God, of light, of love, of protection. So it didn't make sense to me how we all got this, and how some of us took us to the hospital. another sibling of mine landed in the hospital as well, twice. So I slightly felt betrayed. Not slightly, I felt betrayed. I felt betrayed by my beliefs. I felt betrayed. I was confused. But also, there was an aspect of me that was saying, this is not a coincidence. The fact that every one of your family members, intermediate family, siblings, got it, and now your dad is extremely sick, and your other brother is extremely sick. There's something greater here that's happening behind the scenes that my cognitive mind can't make sense of. So I was having faith. And let me tell you guys, my whole family never got together in prayer. I'm talking about now extended family, my first cousins. From that standpoint, my first cousins, my aunts, I contacted when I learned that we were sick, that my dad was really sick, and that my brother, one of my siblings, was really sick. And when they were taken to the hospital, prior to being taken to the hospital, I contacted everyone that I knew that was a prayer warrior. Everyone. It didn't matter what religion, what belief system they had, as long as they believed and had faith in their heart. I contacted them to pray over my family. I contacted my family in Mexico, which is they're huge prayer warriors. I contacted all that I can think of. And we would pray as a family every day at 8 o'clock to make this miracle of healing my family that were at the hospital heal. So, as I was saying, we've never, I should say collectively, my family, my intermediate family, my cousin sisters and so forth, I feel that we never have been this devoted collectively. And the fact that we were this devoted, the fact that we were united, we really, really thought there was going to be a miracle happen. The kind of miracle that was going to save my family members that were in the hospital. They were in the ICU, critical condition. As we prayed very, very devotedly, we then get the news, to make the story not as long. Most likely I'm going to have a part 2 to this, or even a series, because my life again is going to continue to unfold due to this experience. More awareness will be flooding my awareness. But going back to the praying, we then learn that one of our family members passed. I do want to say that that really shook us. And a couple of days, my father followed suit. He passed away. And we tried hard and prayed even harder. We're like, you know what? This aunt in particular is going to survive. She's going to make it. So although we were broken and traumatized, we were still having faith, holding on to our faith. And it took her. And I want to tell you guys, this particular aunt was the pillar of the family. She took on the role of the mother and the father, because my grandparents, her parents, passed away at an early age. So she had to step up to the plate. And take care of her siblings. Everyone went to her. She was the aunt that cared so deeply about her brothers. Of course, she took care of them in a sense, raised them from a fatherly and motherly standpoint, as well as a sister. And she would come to the rescue and help her siblings, as I witnessed her do to my father, or for my father. She would drop anything and everything to help one of her siblings in distress. So when we witnessed that she also went, it even made it harder to understand what was happening. And I'm going to be completely honest with you. I was experiencing a lot of many emotions, from anger to, why is this happening to my family? Why is this not happening to other families? Even though I know there's people affected, but there was other people affected that they didn't land in the hospital and they had underlying issues. So it was difficult to understand and conceptualize the message behind this experience. God, sorry guys, I'm just trying to gather myself and going back as to everyone gets the virus. We didn't get it because we were at a gathering. Meaning, we didn't get it because we were at a party. We were getting it. I ended up getting it. And another person of my family members ended up getting it, being with family. So it was being with family. And not many, but it was being with family that I couldn't recall when I got it and when my dad got it. So what am I saying here? Just because you're only gathering with a friend or your sister or your brother or two of your siblings, be aware that it takes one person to be sick to get you sick. And just because they're your siblings or your mother or your cousin doesn't exempt them from not being infected if they're not exhibiting ailments. So, to go back to my personal symptoms that I got in opposed to some of my family members. My symptoms, and some of you, many of you did not know that I also had the virus. But my personal symptoms were of a huge headache, but in the front, like in my third eye, like right there in my forehead, connected to my nose, kind of like a sinus issue, coupled with allergies. But it was a headache that was super painful. My throat was hurting. I felt nausea in my stomach. That nausea I can describe as hangover, but a hangover or nausea that doesn't go away, that persists, where you want to throw up. In my case, I only threw up once. I felt I totally lost my sense of taste and smell. And mind you guys, for me, that was the first thing that led me to understand that I think I had the virus, was when I lost my sense of taste and when I lost my sense of smell. And it was first the sense of smell that I said, oh no, I might have the virus. And then it followed with more symptoms. I didn't get a fever. I want to say that I broke the fever the first or second day of getting the virus. And I felt it. I took all these remedies. I want to say for anyone that is currently out there suffering the virus, what really helped me, of course, is vitamin C. Vitamin C. I want to say teas that involve garlic, that involves onion, that involves ginger, that involves cinnamon, with chamomile tea. Very important, chamomile tea. Lemon. I would literally squeeze a whole lemon in my tea. It was a very powerful and potent tea. But let me tell you, I lost my sense of taste. So when you lose your sense of taste, take advantage and literally intake all the garlic you can. Intake all the, in tea form, if anything. Or make your dishes with a lot of garlic, with a lot of onion, with a lot of ginger, with a lot of, as far as for the teas goes, incorporate cinnamon, incorporate chamomile tea is amazing. Lemon. Why lemon? I'm going to tell you why lemon. Yes, Daisy, I just saw that. Because when you intake lemon in your body, I know it's acidic. When it in your body it's processed, it turns into alkaline. Alkaline is where the body wants to be healthy. The more alkaline your body is, the less prone you are to be sick. So when you're sick, your body is acidic. When you are healthy, your body is more alkaline. The more alkaline your body can be in, the less prone you are to get sick. So all of these things I started doing. Taking vitamins. So yes, those were some of the remedies. Oh, another thing that you guys should do is baking soda. Baking soda and cooking baking soda. Half of a teaspoon or 1/4 of a teaspoon into your tea. Throw in a chamomile tea and do a lemon, either a whole lemon or half a lemon. That is amazing. I want to say the tea that broke my fever the second day or the first day, because literally I felt something wasn't right. After losing my sense of taste and smell, I noticed, something's not right. I literally made, that's when I made the garlic. It was a tea in tea form, a lot of garlic, a lot of ginger, a lot of, what was it? Garlic, ginger, and I did throw in a chamomile tea. And also I did do baking soda, cooking baking soda, a little bit of it. I didn't do a lot. And I literally chugged it. It was hot. I even burned my throat and I burned my tongue. And I was intaking it as fast as I could. It was burning, but I remember we have to, take it in as hot. And mind you, a lot of hot stuff. Intake a lot of hot stuff. Soups. Do a lot of soups. Anyway, so when I was finished drinking it, I literally recall a couple of hours later, my body broke out in a hot sweat. Literally, I was drenched in sweat. And I knew I broke the fever. I broke the fever. So I advise you, for anyone out there, that if you don't have it, if you don't have the virus, COVID-19, If you know someone that has it, please let them know. Do these teas. Drink as much hot stuff as possible. I know it's summer, but guys, you want to sweat it out. You want to sweat this out. As I said, do lemon. Lemon's huge. It makes your body, once processed, alkaline. Vitamin C. There's other, I'm gonna incorporate other stuff that I took that were vitamins. Hopefully you can have access to those. And I would say start doing this. If you don't have the fever, if you don't have the virus, expose yourself to these teas. Still drink them at least once a day. Build that immunity. Build your resilience, if you will. So going back to my story. And looping back to how my family felt in reference to getting the news that my father passed, getting the news that my aunt died, getting the news that another family member died. We did feel discouraged, as I mentioned. And then I was getting signs. And this is what gets very fascinating. Even before, or rather said powerful, that's the word. What was very powerful about all of this is that before their passing, we were all, when it comes to my sister, when it comes to me, when it came to other sister cousins, we were getting messages, if you will, one way or another, that everything was going to be fine, that we were moving, in a sense, mountains through prayer, that everything was happening for a reason, but that everyone was going to be fine, in a sense. I remember having my own personal moment where when my father had passed, I remember waking up that morning and I gave up. I said, I won't be praying anymore. It doesn't work. It won't work. I won't be doing all these extras. I specifically prayed for 8 months or so, or 6 months, covering my family in protection. I want to say it was less. It was more 6 months, covering my family in protection. And for what? For the polar opposite? For the contrast of it to manifest. So we felt that there was something happening. So when my father passed, we still had my aunt, who was still with us. Yes, in critical condition. Yes, in the ICU, sedated. But I felt there's going to be a miracle. She's going to be a testimonial for all of the prayers that we collectively were putting together into the pot of miracle, of manifestation, as I like to call it. And collectively, we were trying to manifest their health, to restore them back again. I then saw, and that's where I put on there the butterfly, or I incorporated the butterfly. I literally, as I was talking to my sister, I was telling my sister, although this is all traumatic, there's a divine reason for all of this. Something greater is happening behind the scenes. And I see a butterfly, literally beautiful, big, as you can see, attached to my announcement. It was a beautiful, big yellow with bright black stripes, literally on my plant pots outside. My pot plants had this butterfly, and I knew that was the message. In fact, at that time, I knew that was a message from my father. And as you were able to read, or as you're able to read when you reference back to the meaning of a butterfly, especially a yellow, it means guidance and hope. And I know that all of this is unraveling in the way that is going to help the higher good of everyone involved in this experience. Everyone involved. It's going to shift our perspective. I'm a believer that it's going to make us be more conscious, more aware of what's happening behind the scenes and everything. Kind of like what's happening in the world right now. Everything is being exposed. Everything's being revealed. But for a better, or tragic is happening, rather said. tragic is manifesting. For what? For something. It's not God punishing us, I don't think. It's for us to use this experience. It's essentially forcing us to go back into ourselves and reevaluate our priorities. It is a call for us to go back into ourselves and reevaluate our priorities. What really makes us happy, what we really want out of life, what really defines love. What is love? What is acceptance? All of that. So, as we are seeing this collectively in the world, as an opportunity, if you want to see it as an opportunity instead of a punishment, if you will, from God, I am analyzing this that has happened to me the very same. This catastrophic event will continue to unfold its blessings. And for me to be able to speak from this standpoint, to have the faith that I do, to know that this is all happening, that we prayed for a miracle, and that we are getting our answers, our prayers answered, but just not in the way that we were anticipating. So what am I learning here? What am I really fully understanding and witnessing within myself? A, my foundation of belief, of self-love is way more solid than it was back in 2015, 2016. Because this incident should have broke me. This incident should have really made me say, screw everything. But it is a mere reflection of all the awareness that I've gathered and the hope, and that everything does happen for us, not to us. It is an opportunity for us to become self-aware of who we want to be, who we are, and who we want to be thereafter. So it's very powerful to see that the miracle, and this is from my own personal standpoint, the miracle I was praying for didn't manifest in the kind of miracle I was attached to. I was attached to a miracle that they are supposed to be alive. And what I really learned here is that I had prayed, we all collectively prayed for what we really wanted. That means that if it's going to serve our higher good, all of us involved in this experience, for them to be on the other side, that's the miracle. That's the miracle. And I have only been unfolding beliefs that I had. I literally remember saying, wow, talk about how I am, the proof is in the pudding, how I am being tested to really observe myself as to where I stand in the world of awareness and integration and belief and faith. So when we say have faith, or when God tells us, or when anyone that we follow as our guru, if you will, or anyone of spiritual awareness says, have faith, faith and knowing moves mountains. That it's so true. Although we didn't get the miracle that we, our human selves, were attached to, I know we got a miracle. Something's happening behind the scenes that is going to help all of us. And not just that, they went back home. My father, my aunt, and the other family member went back home. Meaning, I am a believer that we integrate back to where we came from, And that's, I want to say, an energy, a love vibration that's unconceptualizable. So, although we stayed behind, we are the ones that are replaying the stories in our head of how things happen and how things could have turned out differently, because that's what happens. We tend to hold on to the stories of what could I, should have, would have, should have, could have done to save the situation or prevent the situation. But I want to remind you that that's suffering. There's a difference to going into your pain and allowing yourself to get emotional and to cry, as I've been doing, because it's a roller coaster. It's a roller coaster. It goes up and it goes down. And I honor that, because that pain and that emotion is my indicator, my magnetic north as to what it is that I need to re-identify. First of all, identify of what is holding me down, what belief system is making me suffer, and give it a new definition. But first, give it what it needs, and then give it a new definition. So, it's been teaching me a lot. It's been teaching me that death, that us graduating, if you will, completing our mission, because that's what death is. If it is not God's will, or if it's not their purpose or their time, they won't go. So it's teaching me a lot through personal experience. Through my personal experience and my understanding what kind of definitions I had about death. Even though I knew death was a celebration of going home, it's different when you're living it firsthand. When, in a sense, firsthand, coming from a standpoint of someone close to your heart that we depend on, in this case, my father, and other family members. I'm realizing, whoa, no wonder people suffer when someone passes. It is painful, but it's because of how we've defined it, how we're living those beliefs, how we're giving it power, how we're giving belief to those definitions that are not really the case. So, yes, departing, someone passing really is another opportunity. It really is them, I like to call it, graduating to their next level of awareness by going home and becoming guardian angels for all of us that are still left behind. All of that simultaneously, because time cannot be measured. There's no time on the other side. Let me check to see if I'm forgetting something else that I feel it's very lucrative to share. I do want to mention another observation that I had happening to me. I realized that I was holding on to a definition. That when my father passed away, when I got the news from the doctor, I texted my significant other, but I followed with, "Don't come over, I want to be alone." And I noticed that I wanted to be alone. I didn't want to be comforted by no one. In fact, it would annoy me if someone was trying to comfort me. So I became vulnerable. I allowed myself to become vulnerable and asked myself, why? Why is it that you're pushing these people away? And I unveiled that when I was little and I was going through my emotional turmoils, because I felt things that much more intensely when I was younger. Considering I was very sensitized, I was clairsentient, cognizant, I was very sensitive. I would feel people and their emotions and take it very personal. I noticed that somewhere along the line I had bought into a belief. I fed a belief within me that no one was ever able to understand me and my pain. and in my deep, deep emotions. And I realized when I was pushing people away, especially my significant other, God bless his soul, he literally came over and was outside and, didn't want to, violate my wish as far as comforting me. But he took no for an answer. And he waited out there until he had the opportunity to come in, and he waited and he stayed, and he told me, I'm not going to leave you alone. You're not going to be alone this time that you lost another parent. I won't have you experience this on your own. So when I heard that, I said, God, I really do have barriers when it comes to someone comforting me and being present with me in my pain, because somewhere along the line I feel that they don't understand, that they will never understand me unless they go through it themselves. And yes, that's true. We will not understand another in pain that lost their parent, their brother, their whoever, their lover, their spouse. We won't understand them fully until we have experienced it ourselves. However, my responsibility is to allow myself have someone understand me. That is my responsibility. That is what I need to gift little Josie, the little traumatized aspect in me that still believes that no one will ever understand me, thus can't hold the capability to comfort me. I repeat, when you really believe that no one can understand you, what you're really declaring is that no one's going to be able to comfort you. So as I am honoring these beliefs, I'm also simultaneously honoring I'm alone. I can't even comfort myself. I am perpetuating this belief and simultaneously isolating myself. So, when I caught myself doing that, I was able to pause, because there was an episode that happened a couple of days later after the experience where I found myself sobbing and feeling like a victim, like no one was able to understand me. No one can actually understand what I'm going through. And then the moment that I found myself crying, I said, but wait, I understand you, which is the adult self, the conscious self, the Josie right now in real time. I said, wait, but I understand you. I am also going through this pain with you, which is the child inside of me. And I'm telling you, the moment I was able to identify that and speak it out loud, I immediately was overwhelmed with this peace. It was like I linked the two aspects of me that were still separated. As if the child within me was saying, you can't even give me what I need, which is the person that I need it from the most, which is myself, my grown aspect of me. Really, it really is the only person that you really need, because then you'll be able to believe that other people can hold the capability to hold you in that space, to give you their presence, to give you what they could give you from their own level of awareness, and you'll be able to receive it for what it is. Whether if they never lost someone, whether if they did, you'll receive it with gratitude instead of pushing it away and saying, I don't want it because you don't get my level or depth of pain. So very powerful to come to that awareness. Very, very powerful. Also, I wanted to share another important factor that I really wanted to disclose here. And like I said, I'm going to be doing a series, because I know from all of this, more is going to unveil before me. I'm going to witness these strongholds and these beliefs that no longer are mine just fall apart, fall. And I'm going to have more room, creating more space for love. But I wanted to mention that a part of me wanted to force myself to go back into depression. Just in case some of you did not know, I suffered from depression, severe depression, to where there was moments where I wanted to take my life. I'm expressing this so you could understand the level of pain and suffering that I was once upon a time in. So, when all of this fell apart, this catastrophe manifested, it's like a part of me wanted to go back into that depression. That part that always depended on depression. But what was powerful here is how equally too, there was another part of me who said, wait, but that's not us anymore. We're not depressed anymore. We're not in that vibrational frequency anymore. And if I can put an example or attach an example to what I'm saying, it would be you trying to fit, or me trying to fit a size 2 of a shoe, fit my size 9 foot into a size 2. Doesn't work, because I'm no longer that person that's trying to stuff myself into depression. I'm too expanded for a size 2. My foot is too big, if you will, for a size 2. So that was another tangible gauge, another tangible example that I put before me to make me understand that I wasn't the old Josie anymore. That I can't. I can't be sad. Yes, I'm sad, but I can't be depressed. Depression is a very low frequency, guys. Depression really, really is when you just feel forsaken and suicide thoughts start creeping up. I'm not saying all depressed people have those suicide thoughts, but the kind of level that I was in, they were there. So, yeah, I couldn't go back to that old Josie. That old Josie was transmuted, was morphed. There's nothing like witnessing life and having proof while things are falling apart before you that, oh my God, I'm infused with faith. God consciousness is really dwelling inside of me. Christ consciousness. Love is really dwelling inside of me, because love is an energy of integration and acceptance, regardless of the circumstance. So, regardless of my catastrophic circumstances, my strongest belief and the vibration that I was carrying was one of, everything happens for a divine reason. And we will be unfolding the awareness that is going to be delivered to each and every one of us involved in the experience. So, I believe I'm going to wrap this up. If anything comes up into my mind as far as what I see important to share for others, I will most definitely be jumping on here. Again, I repeat, this video is for anyone that is going through distress, especially from COVID-19. Anyone who has lost someone through COVID-19, I intimately can resonate with you. I personally have gone through it myself. Please reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to be that support system, to shine light, to tell you that I will be sitting with you with zero judgment and be present with your pain and be validating your pain. At the end of the day, as I told my dear friend, that is ultimately what we first need, is when we are going through a turmoil, an emotional turmoil, and we're suffering. The number one most powerful thing to do and act for a friend, the most powerful act one should do for a friend would just be to listen to them in their pain, to be present, to hold them, create a container in their pain, and allow them to just be, so they could then witness through example what love looks like. Love does that. Love doesn't judge it. Love comforts it through just being present. No advice, just be present. Then magic happens, because once they feel genuinely comforted by you just being present with them, sitting with their pain, because what you're essentially telling them is that their pain is valid, their suffering is valid. What happens thereafter, once they believe that you're genuinely being present with them and comforting them, and you want to be present with them and not run away, push them away, they then start wanting to ask to open another door. They themselves will give themselves permission to move on to the next phase of their healing. But not until you become present with them unconditionally, with zero judgment, even with no advice, just sit with them. Not until you do that will they then choose to see or take the next step of healing. Okay, guys. With full acceptance and unconditional love to the best of my ability. I love you guys.